Welcome everyone to another Wednesday night, the fundamentals to gain inner peace, with your host, Coach Menachem. And here we are talking about creating a safe space for inner growth on the journey that we're on. So before we start, just to check in, how's everyone doing? I hope you're doing good. If you're here, how you feeling? Great question to ask. And for those who are with us now for a while, it's a different question. We used to answer, great, Baruch Hashem, thank you Hashem, which is good. But now we're tuning into those feelings, becoming aware of how our body feels. Okay. Now that doesn't mean we have to answer all of that when somebody, on the street asks you how you're feeling. But it's important to ask yourself once in a while during the day, how am I feeling? Where am I? What's going on? So overwhelmed. Take a deep breath and come back to the present moment. Come back to the here and the now where you are. So how are we going to get grounded today? So I'd like to ask you a question. What do you use? You don't have to answer. You can let me know in the chat. What grounding, relaxation technique do you use when you need it? Important question to know. Hopefully it's something easy you can do, because we all need it. And that's going to be part of our discussion, what we're going to do in that safe space that we create. One of the things we need to do is some relaxation techniques, be in the present moment. So there are many different ideas, whether it's deep breathing. We discussed circular breathing, coherent breathing. What other ideas did we discuss in the past? Giving yourself a hug. Havening technique, which is amazing, just by touching, giving yourself that, rubbing yourself, hugging yourself. Visualization, to be able to visualize some relaxation. It could be what we're going to be discussing tonight. You can do it in visualization. You visualize a very safe place. You can go there, you close your eyes, you can always go there. We've done that in the past. Guided meditation. So whatever you use, just important to stop for a moment and what do you use? And if the answer is nothing, so don't be hard on yourself, but be aware of that. Just be aware of that we all need a growth. We all need to calm down. We all need to find a safe space and to do these relaxation techniques. So many of us know it. Logically, we know it, but we don't do it. Just to be aware of that. Why not? And many people say, I don't have time. I am too busy. So that's another awareness, just to be aware. Taking a deep breath and be aware that you don't have time. It's important. Okay. So let's discuss. I forgot, we didn't do any grounding techniques. Is everybody grounded? Let's take a few deep breaths. All the way in and let it all out, whatever there is. You can feel your body, whether there's stress or relaxed. You're taking a deep breath and let it all out. Just deep breathing. And it's amazing. After one deep breath, you can feel the change. So continue, another deep breath and another one. You deserve it. Just to relax. Okay. So discussing to create a safe space. Okay. So we're all on a journey. If you're here now for a while, we know about it, we talk about it. If it's the first time you're here, even if you're not aware of it, the things that are happening day in, day out, things that you're busy with, we all have our life, busy, things that we're busy, things happening, ups and downs. We're all on a journey. We're learning how to enjoy it, to feel it, to be there, not to escape, but we're all on a journey. For those who are aware, things can come up, and not always are those things the things that we like, and it can become very you become vulnerable, when these things come up, when you stop and slow down. And we need some compassion, all those things that can help you, again, not to run away, like we discussed many times. It's like the inner child, a little kid complaining about something, to be able to listen to it and not get scared. So for that, we need to create a space where you can spend time with yourself, a safe space. Just for a few minutes. It could be a few minutes a day, something that you do in the morning, or whenever you have a few minutes for yourself, you sit down there and you do that relaxation technique, and you find yourself in a place where you can just spend time with yourself. Let whatever wants to come up, let it come up. So how do we create that safe space? And why is it so important? Because when we have to be vulnerable, these things it's not comfortable. And when these things come up, you want to make sure that you're in a place where you can sit with it. Okay. So sitting with it, if you don't have that time, if you can't slow down, if people bother you, then obviously you're going to continue on the escape. So, for example, when somebody goes to a therapist, okay, for those who need somebody to hold their hands, to guide them, so the therapist's room should be a safe space. And that's how people should feel. If you don't feel that way, so you have to discuss it. But a therapist's room is that space that you can walk into once or twice a week. You can close the door and you can discuss whatever comes up, whatever's on your mind, all of those feelings, all of those ideas, thoughts. Exactly what we discussed. When you slow down, these things come up. So you should be able to do it in that room. Now, a therapist is trained to listen, not to judge, to ask the right questions so that you don't run out. Make it safe. They make it safe. Okay. Now, for those who are, could be you can see a therapist, but the other days, not every day. So you need some days for yourself, being able to create that space in your own house. Space where you can sit down, comfortable place, and relax. You shouldn't be disturbed. And yourself, you're like being your own therapist. Don't judge. Let things come up. You can journal. You become aware of things with compassion and practicing effective listening skills, just to listen whatever comes up. And you learn how to become comfortable with those feelings, with those emotions, with those thoughts. And we all have our ups and downs. Just be aware. If you're in a good place, you're not in a good place, and whatever it is okay. So it's like being your own therapist. So again, for those who many times you've gone through or you're going through something heavy, that you need somebody to be there, somebody trained. So reach out to somebody that can do it with you. But the other days, or for those who are doing self-help, just reflect, just to be mindful, do some meditation, relaxation. When these things come up, you should be ready for it. You're in a place where you're okay. You're in that space that you created, that you feel good, you relaxed. And you can put in that space whatever works for you. A warm tea, it could be some pictures, a warm blanket, pillows. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just creating a physical space. The same idea, sometimes we need that emotional space that we spend some time just being in a space of not judging yourself, just letting things come up, and that's okay. A lot of introspection, the thoughts, the emotions, and all of our experiences, right? So many people have a group where they meet together, they have a safe space. You could have a friend that you call and you feel safe, that you just want to share something. It's private, it's confidential, just like what you share in your therapist room. Whatever you share there stays there. And if you feel safe with the therapist, you can sit there and explore. Why do you feel this way? What are those thoughts? And you go inside the inner world. Slowly you learn how to do it without any fear or any judgment. It takes time. I know many people have a hard time reaching out to therapists for that reason. But what I tell them is, listen, it does take time. You have to gain the trust. And could be the first one, won't be the right one. It might be the second or the third, but the only way how you're going to get there is by going through the first and the second. So let's go, let's do it, even though it might be hard. And it is hard, not easy, being vulnerable. But now thinking that we're creating that space in my own house. Okay, so that means you have to gain the trust of yourself. Gain your own trust where you can let yourself come up with different things that are sometimes not comfortable and listen to it and not knock yourself, not be hard on yourself. And it's okay. Okay. So that's part of how we create this space in our house, the inner space. And I recommend it shouldn't be in your office. It shouldn't be the place where you sit all day. It shouldn't be in front of your computer. If that space, that space that you spend most of your day anyway, so there's a certain energy that's there. You might have the energy of doing work, paying bills, but we want to go away from that. Find a corner, a space where you can set up, that you can walk away from everything that's going on. And you can sit down over there and just let things happen. Just take a deep breath, relax. There's nothing going on. Let's say it's for 5 minutes. No phones, no technology. You're on your own. On your own. Enjoy it. Some people say they don't have, it's too noisy. It could be a challenge. It could be a challenge. But again, try your best. It doesn't have to be perfect. To create that space, which is a safe space. Now, what happens when you're there? Not only those things that are hard or negative. A lot of times when I discuss these things, the hard things that come up, you wanna build some positives. You have some positive quotes, some positive ideas that when you sit there, it gives you the courage, the strength to continue. That's part of making that space comfortable. So when you sit down there, you say, oh, here I am again. How are things working out? My goals. What are my goals? Maybe I don't have, you come up with your intentions. What do I want my day to look like? And you can create your intentions. All of those things, all of these things come up when you can slow down, do some relaxation techniques, take a deep breath, and then you find yourself in that safe space where you let things come up and you become aware of things that you're not aware when you're busy, when there's a lot going on. So let's discuss a little bit of practical. So you set it up. Soon we'll discuss some ideas, what you can put in there. But for everybody, it's different. You set it up. You sit down there. If you've done this for a while, then you're probably going to get used to it. Every time you sit down, you'll feel the grounding just by sitting down in that space, it's going to take you right back to that space of relaxation. But for beginners, many times you find yourself, what am I supposed to do here? So step number one is just become aware of those feelings that what am I supposed to do here? Just sit down and just be there. And that's hard for many. It's hard for many people. What am I supposed to do? Tell me what to do. Right? So for that, a good idea is to come up with a relaxation technique that you do every time you sit down there, so that you can relax. You know what to do and relax, whether it's deep breathing, the things that we discussed before. But for those who are used to it, you don't have to go to that relaxation technique right away. You can just sit down and automatically you can tune into your body and you're aware of how your body feels. And you'll see it might be overwhelmed, stressed. There's so much to do. Why am I sitting here? So those are thoughts, but you're going to go back into your body, become aware of what your body feels. And it's a good experiment to try to do it, try to do it every day. Just stop and do nothing and see what comes up. And that's the hard part. So for beginners, yes, it's a good idea to have a very clear, specific relaxation technique that you do. So every time you sit down in that safe space, you start off with that relaxation technique, take a deep breath, and slowly you calm down and you're able to stay there. If things do come up, that's too hard. So again, sometimes you have to stay there, feel it. It might take 2-3 minutes and it's going to go away. You can journal, you can write it down. Again, it's something that you have to figure out what works for you, but it's important to understand that when it's hard, these things come up, the feelings come up that you don't like. It's okay. It happens to all of us, and that you're okay. And you're hearing it from me, it can be very soothing, and you have to learn how to tell it to yourself when these things come up. And you feel overwhelmed, there might be anger or a lot of different emotions. Just tell yourself, it's okay. I'm okay with all of those feelings. And then you become grounded and you can stay there, whether it's meditation, journaling, setting intentions, different things. Okay, what are some ideas to put into that room? So I'm just going to rattle off some ideas and you'll choose what works for you. But to get the idea, sometimes you might think, I don't need that. It's fine. I just sit down, I do the work. But it's really deep sense of connecting with yourself in a deep way. Okay, and for those people, which I've met many of them that say, I'm fine, I don't need it. And there are men that would say, maybe it's made for women, it's not for me. We're all human. And even those women that say, they're very productive and their day looks great and they're doing a good job, but if they don't have time, a few minutes a day for themselves, then there needs to be some introspection. There's something going on. Just to be able to give yourself what you need so that you can give it to others. Take a few minutes a day where you can breathe, relax, and let the positive things come up. Because we mentioned many times emotions. If you're not in touch with your emotions, then you don't have positive. You might not feel the negatives, but you're not feeling the positives. Once you start slowing down and realizing where you are on this journey, how you feel, you'll let the negatives come up. You can enjoy the positives. And that's why this is what we want. We want both the positives and the negatives. We want to be there, not run away, not escape. So the same idea is you're sitting down, relaxing in a safe space. Many times negative stuff come up. That's true. But you're giving yourself space for positive things to come up. If you want to set your intention, you want to have some things that you want to work on, you have some goals to look forward to. You know, your mind might say it's not for you. But if you relax and you hear those voices, and you can say, why not? You say, you know what, I don't want to try it. But it might not work out. It's out of your comfort zone. Okay. That's okay. We'll try. We'll see how it goes. So you go out of your comfort zone and you start feeling alive. You're not so scared. All of this could only come if you can find that safe space where you can stop, relax, and tell yourself that you deserve just to be. Become a human being. Just be for a few minutes so you can see what's going on, become aware. So let's see what some ideas talk to you. And if any of these ideas work, write them down and let's go. Let's get to work. So number one, if it's pillows and blankets, a beanbag, a big chair, whatever you enjoy. The lighting, you can set the lighting in a way that you enjoy, whether it's bright or maybe just a lamp where it's dark. Maybe put on some candles, light some candles, makes it a certain feeling. A warm drink, make sure the temperature is warm in the room. And it's listening to yourself. What's something that makes me feel good? It's like listening to that inner child. Let's connect to that inner child. Let's connect to ourselves. What's something that I enjoy? Do I enjoy a comfortable, warm space? Do I like a big chair? Do I want a beanbag? It sounds silly, but it's connecting to what talks to us. Connect to it. Essential oils, aromatherapy, background music, some music that you enjoy, sounds of nature. You can put in that space certain books that you enjoy, whether it's reading or just looking at them. Different things that you can put in the room. Could be a lamp, a picture. You can get dressed comfortably so you can just enjoy those few minutes in that safe space. Have a journal, a pen where you can write down when things come up. Writing is something that works and it's important. Art, sometimes it's a safe space. You can just do art, see how you feel. Stuffed animals, some small toys, something that you can touch, you can sit with. Weighted blankets, or something that weighs on your lap or lap pads, makes you feel grounded, sense of security. Herbal teas, maybe a warm cocoa, just to relax. A meditation cushion, a yoga mat. And what are other ideas that you have? Just something that you can put in that space. You can have a little bit of snack there. Some people, you want to munch on something. Have a sucking candy, maybe a mint candy. It's just a space. So you see where we're going. You're sitting down there, there's nothing going on. There's nothing going on, only me. And just becoming in touch with myself. And it's safe. Whatever comes up, it's safe. That's it. So how does that feel? So many people, they say they don't have that space to do it. Okay, I hear. Some people don't have time, don't have the space. I think it's something to think about. Because it doesn't have to be perfect. You could find some time. You could find some space. It doesn't have to be exactly the way you think it should be. Not black and white, just something. And how often should I do it? It's really your choice. A good idea is to start your day there. Before you start your day, sit down there and you say, where am I? What do I want my day to look like? You can actually set your intention for the day from a space, a safe space. You can be aware of the things that are a challenge, going out of your comfort zone, you're not sure how to do it, you can visualize. If you don't have that right space, sometimes just closing your eyes and spending a few minutes to visualize, you can take yourself to that space. We've mentioned that in the past. Go to the beach in your mind, find a place where you can sit. Again, it doesn't have to be that setup. You just sit or lay, close your eyes, and do some guided visualization to see yourself going into that safe space. You can create it in your mind. And we discussed, you can put whatever you want there. You can bring in people, you can go pictures. It's creating a space in your mind that you can always go there when you're in the mood of relaxing. And that works. So you can do that also. So once a day would be great. The way I look at it is once a day for a few minutes, if possible, once a week for a longer period. If you could do it for an hour, great. That would be beautiful. Do some meditation, relaxation techniques, some writing, some music. It's just amazing to see what comes up. And what comes up after a half hour doesn't come up after 15 minutes. So if you only give yourself 15 minutes, you're not really seeing those things that come up later on. So once a week, you can go a little bit deeper. But if you do that, if you spend once a week deeper, then every day for a few minutes, you can always go back to the writing to see how you want to set your intentions, to see what you want to do. Again, journaling is very important. You can make a line on a piece of paper. On one side, you write how you're feeling. What are the things that are not working out? What are the things that are called negative? The things that you don't enjoy, all of those things that come up. And on the right side, or whichever side, you write all the positives. Or what would you like it to look like? How would you want it to be? If you could change it, what would you like it to be? And then you just become aware of that. Sometimes you could change it, sometimes you can't. And that's okay, you become aware. And when you're done, do what we do usually over here. You thank yourself. Take a minute or two. Thank yourself for taking some time off, for going into that space, for being there for yourself, for listening. And if there's any healing, if there's anything that came up that it feels that it wants to change, so with compassion, just put a light around it. And you can say it's tefillah, Hashem, please help me with this situation. I'm starting off my day, certain things in my day that I'm not sure how it's going to work out. I'm scared, I'm worried, it's a challenge. Please, I need your help. And then you let go. And you start your day. Isn't that amazing? So that's it for tonight. That is the safe space that you can create in your own home. And that's something that I try to create here on our Wednesday nights, a safe space where we can talk, where we can share, to let things come up, and it's still okay. It's okay. Now, it's not enough because over here you're listening to me. But when we go offline and you close technology, you close your eyes, you go inside of yourself. And that's the next step. Sometimes it's hard to listen to somebody else. It's very good, soothing. It gives you the courage, which is amazing. But when you're ready, you close everything. You put down the phone, you close your eyes, and you go inside. And then you become aware of what comes up, of all those feelings. Amazing. Thank you very much. Thank yourself for being here. Any questions that you have while you're on the journey, you can always email the Coach Menachem at gmail.com. Let me know what comes up. And if it's something that I can answer, amazing. And if not, I'm there to listen. It's part of the awareness. We all have our ups and downs. We all have our questions. We all have our things that we're going through. We're in this together. The recordings are available on menachembernfeld.com. The past 115 recordings. So if you're new, start the journey. and hopefully things work out. And again, any questions, send them in. Thank you very much, and thank yourself for taking some time off and enjoy your safe space that you create. Have a good night, and I'll see you next week.